Good evening and Jai Hind. Let's look at theme 6, Bhakti and Sufi movement, changes in the religious beliefs and devotional texts from around 8th century to 18th century CE. Now, one of the most important thing emerges when we look at the 8th century religious belief. We see that there is an integration of cults which is happening, and there are two major processes that work. The first one is the Brahminical ideas have disseminated through different ways, such as the Puranic text, simple Sanskrit verse, which make it accessible to women and Shudras. So, where the lower category in society are accepting Brahminical norms. The other process is about Brahmins accepting and reworking beliefs and practices of the localized community. So would this tells us that there is a constant dialogue between the sociologists described as great Sanskritic texts, Puranic traditions and little traditions throughout the land. Now the cult of Jagannath is an example of such an integration of cults. So the cult of Jagannath we find originate in Orissa, and if you look at the iconography here, the image, none of these gods look very familiar if you think about the Puranic pantheon. But what we today understand is that this particular image of Jagannath have been identified with Vishnu or Krishna, but did not see a Sudarshan Chakra or even a flute, right? So what is this? So perhaps the attributes of the local culture of Jagannath short of matches somewhere with the Vishnu or Krishna cults of the larger, greater Sanskritic traditions as well. So perhaps a Brahmins appropriated this localized cult as said well, Jagannath no other than Vishnu or Krishna. Often there was no direct acceptance of the local gods and goddesses, but what they do is a kind of include them in a Puranic framework. For example, you may look at the goddess and say, okay, this goddess is perhaps the wife of a certain principal male deity. So you have Lakshmi who emerges as a wife of Vishnu. In other instances, we have Parvati or the goddess with her attributes, who has called the wife of Shiva. So we see a large number of cults are being integrated with each other in this way. Now we had a lot of difference and conflicts within these different cults as well, like especially when we compare with Vedic and Puranic traditions, we see a huge amount of difference for example, in the Vedic tradition we have some important gods such as Agni, Indra, Som. They were really very important god in the Vedic tradition. But by the time you reach the Puranic traditions, Agni, Indra and Som are very marginalized minor gods, often in need of help, from new major deities such as Brahma, Vishnu and Mahesh. Then again, when you go back to Vedic traditions and hardly find any mention of Vishnu, of Shiva or the mother goddess. Very few and far between differences. So by the time we come to Puranic period, we see that Vishnu and Shiva become very major god, and the other tradition of mother goddess, this is also very expanded in a great deal. There was an also example of conflict between these various religious beliefs. So you had the Vedic verses and the Tantric. Now the Vedic traditions very strict in their rule and is to how to recite various months. Vedic people never accepted the Tantric. They said that they are too wild, and they said, well, the Vedic tradition is bind you like nothing else. Next is Puranic versus Buddhist or Jain tradition. So when the Buddhist and Jain traditions actually oppose a lot of Puranic stories, especially those which deal with social hierarchy, and then you have the Puranic deities themselves being held in opposition to each other, like for example Shaivism and Vaishnavism. So around 8th century CE, the seeds of bhakti are being sown again through these three major cults, that is Shaivism, Vaishnavism and Shaktivism.